So let's discuss about method overloading example. I created a method public display. Okay. In display. Or let's write a proper method public void add. Okay. Int a equal to 10. Int b equal to 20. Sys out. Public void add int a comma int b. Okay. Return a plus b. Public void add int a int b int c. Return a plus b plus c. Okay. And int a comma float b return a plus b. Public again float add float a comma float b. Return a plus b. Now one more thing, the last thing. Okay. Now I'm doing main method. Okay, I defined float a equal to 10, int b equal to 20, and I called a method. What is that method? Method, first of all, let's create an object for that. Example, new method. Dot and I'm passing 10 comma sorry a comma b. Now tell me which method will be invoked when I call add a comma b. Which method will be invoked? float a int b. I'm passing a comma b. Now tell me which method will be invoked. So Victoria, can you tell me? You there?
So, is it the second one?
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, above that. Above that.
This one?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah, let's ask Swati. Yeah, Swati, can you tell me which one will be invoked? I'm passing float a, that is 10, and float b, that is 20, that is 8 and a comma b. Now tell me, Swati, which method will be invoked in this all these methods? Yeah, Aruna, you there? Can you tell me, Aruna?
Third one will be invoked,
So
I
the
guess.
27th one. Sorry, I was on mute.
No problem, no problem. So what
Yeah,
is that, Swati?
27th line. Public float add float
Okay,
a in.
okay. So what about you, Aruna?
Can you come down, please?
That's it. Only main method. Float a into b.
Float, no? Yeah. Swati is right.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that is correct. Okay. So now you can see there is a confusion can be occurred definitely because all the methods looks same. Okay, every method is name. Okay, so let's note down the overloading definition now. Let's note down the overloading definition now. Overloading a method multiple methods have the same name but differ in number of parameters, type of parameters, order of parameters. Okay, difference in return type cannot be considered as method overloading. Okay, so this is also one important thing. Let's talk about number of parameters and type of parameters, order of parameters. Okay, so if I pass three parameters a comma b comma c, int a comma int b comma int c, okay, you can see, so this particular method will be invoked. Okay, so for this method and for this method, what is the difference? The number of parameters. Okay, here it is two parameters, here it is three parameters. And when I say order of parameters, it's a int a float b, it's a float a int b, that's a order of parameters. And type of parameters, okay, so you can see here int a and int b, here float a and float b. Okay, so the type of parameters are different. And when I say the return type is, no, the return type is doesn't matter. Okay, let's say let's create one more method, the same method, but no, int c equal to a plus b, you can write. Let's change it to void. Let's change it to void. Now still you can see a duplicate method add int comma int. This is int comma int and this is also int comma int, and both the names are add. Okay, so what is the note I have told? Difference in return type cannot be okay, cannot be considered as method overloading. Okay, so if you are writing Java certification example, something like this, some competitive exams, so definitely they will confuse with this kind of question and they will ask you, so what is the answer now? Okay, so you'll think, okay, So one of the method will be invoked, and if you give the answer, you are wrong. Okay, so it is a compilation error because there are two methods which are having the same name and same parameters and number of parameters, and all these parameters exactly matches. Okay, so changing, differ in return type will not be considered as method overloading. Okay, now fine. So this method overloading will be, sorry, this method overloading, yes, this method overloading will be, will be done in compile time only. Let's say if I do, now you can tell me 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40. Okay, so is there any method which is taking 4 arguments here? Is there any method which is taking 4 arguments? You can do control O simply. No, right?
No.
Okay, so which method it has to invoke? There is no method, so it cannot invoke, right? So that's the reason there is a compilation error. The method int comma int in the type method overloading is not applicable for 4 integers. Okay, let's remove one value here. Now which method will be invoked? Let's tell me which method will be invoked here. Which one? Fast.
The third one, add int. But we
Int. Right. There are 3 parameters. Anything else is having 3 parameters apart of the third one? No, right? So the answer is third one straight away. Okay. And now be careful. 10 comma 20.3f. Now tell me which, when I say f is nothing but it's a floating point number. I am passing integer number and a floating point number. Now tell me which method will be invoked. Fast. Integer comma float.
fourth one.
Okay, so this one. Yes, exactly. Okay, if I pass float comma integer, this will be invoked. Okay, please do not confuse. Okay, now let's talk about this one. Now tell me which method will be invoked.
The last one,
Float. The reason is,
we have given both the values, the float values.
okay, and the matching method is
Float is the last method.
exactly. Okay, so and when it is when it is identified which method has to be invoked in the execution time, in the compile time only.
In the execution?
No, in the compile time, because I have not yet executed, right? I not yet executed. In the compile time only, it is able to identify which method has to execute. Okay, if I write like this, now this is interest. Which method will be invoked now? There is a float integer. Now tell me which method will be invoked.
It has 3 parameters, but the third one has only integers. Doesn't have a float method, so I don't think it will execute the program.
Now what happens?
It will show the error.
What error? Compile error, right? So that's right. So there are 3 parameters which are matching here. But what are those parameters? It's a integer. But what I'm passing, float integer. Okay, so there is none of the method which can able to accept these parameters. There is no method which can accept float integer as it is, right? So that's the reason it will be failed. It shows the compile time error. Method add float comma int. Okay, something it says is not applicable for float int. Okay, so please understand this concept. This is called method overloading. Okay, and method overloading will be decided at the compile time, whereas method overriding will be decided at the runtime. In the runtime, which method has to be invoked will be decided at the runtime. That's one thing. There is one difference between method overloading and method overriding. And can anybody tell one more difference between method overloading and method overriding? So in the method overloading, I say return type does not be considered as overloading. Okay, whereas in the method overriding, okay, everything should match: the access modifier, the return type, and the method name and the parameters. Everything should match. Here we are only considering the method name and the parameters. In the method overloading, you have to consider including the return type. Okay, if there is change in the return type, that will not be considered as a method overriding. Okay, so let's see some of the difference between method overloading and method overriding. There are some differences are available. Okay, so we'll be meeting on Monday. What shall we do in this next 2 days? We'll be meeting on Monday, right? As per Indian time, we'll be meeting on Monday. So shall we take some assignment?
Sure.
Yeah. What are the topics we have covered?
Sudhir, you said you're gonna repeat operators.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll do it on Monday. Swati, can you please remind me on Monday? I'll do that. It's not so strange. Okay, we already use some of the operators. If you can see it, okay, a plus b, all these are operators only. Okay, so by the time, please go through that video also. I'll be repeating it, not completely, but at least I'll give you a brief idea. And yeah, it's not something strange that you cannot understand it. It's a very simple concept. Okay, so it's hardly some 40 minutes of video. You can go through it anyway. I'll just brief it out. Okay, before that, let's take some assignment here. Okay, create a program for inheritance. First one, create a program for reverse a number. TA is 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, output should be given a number 1 2 3 4 5. I don't know where you'll how do you write it. You can take the online help also, but so make sure you write the program. Make sure you understand the program. When I say how do you got this answer, you can able to explain it. If you copy from the internet also, I don't mind, but I want you to understand it. When I ask you, you can able to explain it. 5 4 3 2 1. This one thing. Write a program for prime numbers. Okay, write a program to explain method overriding. Okay, just try it out. I know it's a weekend, I understand, but this is also important. I'm not giving too many things. Anything else you want to do specifically? So this will invoke, this will be having loops, operators, and if condition, everything will come into here. If somebody is very interested to practice the programs, there are many programs which are kept it here, interview programs. All these questions are asked in the interview. I'm not saying it's in Java or Selenium or whatever it is. Okay, so which I taken some of the most of the questions which I taken from my friends as well as from my experience. I have written all these interview programs. Some of them only asked in Java development also. Do not worry about all these things. Okay, these are not so required. And what else? Okay, done. I'll be sharing these two. So right now I'll be giving, on the chat box itself. Please copy in your notepad. Okay, right now I send it now like this. Okay. So if somebody still not received these programs, let me know. I'll be saving it. I'll be sending to your emails, but only when you don't get it. There are a lot of assignment I've given. All your weekend is sufficient to make sure. Okay. So again, it's a weekend. I know I'm not. So it's well and good if you can, complete it. It's well and good at least if you can practice some of the things. Okay. So try to put some time on this and try to complete it. Okay. I understood it's a weekend, so I'm not making it mandatory, but I'm interested to see that you guys are writing this program. You can take the examples. Okay, I'm giving one more hint how to write or practice all these things.